Now on Sunrise, detectives worry they've just scratched the surface after arresting a man for a disturbing sex crime. Plus, more protection for cyclists in Portland. What riders think of upgrades to some bike lanes. Your news starts now. Good morning and thanks for getting up with us on this Saturday morning. I'm Libby Dowse. It is 8 o'clock. Some nice weather coming our way. Let's check in with Celine Stevens for a quick look at your forecast.
Happy Saturday. We're going to be seeing really nice temperatures today. It's going to be a lot like Friday, seeing temperatures just mild overall. So here's where we're going. As we get to around 12 p.m., we're going to see our temperatures around the upper 60s or so. That said, it could be a little bit warmer depending how fast these clouds burn off. 79 degrees in the Dalles by the afternoon. Along the coast, more 60s and 50s. By the time we get to the end of our day, we're definitely breaking into the 70s, upper 70s at that. Around 5 p.m., we should be sitting around 77 degrees. Mid 80s in the Dalles. They're keeping it warm. 60 in Timberline, along the coast, even more 60s. Places like Salem getting to around 79 degrees. So again, a lot like Friday in terms of just being warm and mostly clear, again, once those clouds burn off. And so these seasonable temperatures that we've been seeing, they are going to be remaining at least for a few more days. As we get into the early to the middle of next week, expect those temperatures, though, to rise. So again, Tuesday into Wednesday, we're going to be seeing those 90s return. The good news is they quickly start to cool back off by around Thursday. The 80s will come back. But first, we need to get through today. Temperatures getting up to the upper 60s, likely low 70s again as those clouds burn off by around noon. By 5 p.m., that's when we're seeing temperatures breaking into the upper 70s. So it's going to be nice and sunny and warm. But taking a quick look at our futurecast, we're going to be seeing pretty clear skies once we get to Monday. The only chance we're going to have of rain is in the Cascades as we see afternoon thunderstorms become a possibility Tuesday into Wednesday, even into Thursday as well. But aside from that, we're looking at pretty nice and warm conditions. Back to you.
All right. Well, in the gorge, fire crews say they're making slow and steady progress on the Bordeaux fire burning on the Washington side of the Columbia. The fire has not grown much in the last 24 hours. It's holding at about 11,000 acres with about 20% containment. Evacuation levels have been lowered in some areas, including the town of Lisle, which is now at a level 2 BSET, allowing people to return to their homes. SR 14 is still shut down for roughly 10 miles between Bingen and Lisle. In Forest Grove, drone video shows a deadly fire that broke out at an apartment building last night. You can see the smoke billowing over the area near 19th Avenue and Pacific. Forest Grove Fire says an off-duty firefighter and a retired deputy fire marshal were on scene and helped residents escape. One person died in that fire. Crews had to retreat from the building at one point when they were worried about the roof coming down on them. It took them about 3 hours to put out all the hot spots. The cause of that fire is under investigation. Washington County investigators are looking for more possible victims after they arrested a man in Aloha accused of kidnapping and committing several sex crimes. A warning, some of these details are difficult to hear. Alma McCarty has our story.
On July 21st, deputies arrived in this quiet Aloha neighborhood responding to a report of a sexual assault.
This wasn't an easy call for them to take. The charges are pretty egregious.
Charges against 58-year-old Drew Hendricks for the alleged assault of a 20-year-old woman he did not know. A woman who court documents say got lost near his home without a phone after she'd been drinking with friends at an event that night.
Because of the nature of this call and because of the person we were dealing with, our tactical negotiations team, which is essentially our SWAT team, was who took him into custody.
Prosecutors in Washington County say Hendricks was in his garage when he found the victim crying and needing help. Although she asked for directions to a gas station, he allegedly invited her inside and refused to let her leave, telling her he was, quote, so lucky that she stumbled upon his door. Documents describe how he allegedly forced her to smoke meth before sexually assaulting her and taking pictures of the abuse. Investigators also believe Hendricks sexually assaulted a man in his 80s that very same night and inside the the same home.
We are looking for additional victims to come forward.
Prosecutors also claiming in court documents that Hendricks has a pattern of stalking, threats, and being sexually inappropriate with women, especially at the auto repair shop he used to own in Portland.
There are allegations of misconduct that span over 15 years.
Hendricks remains at the Washington County Jail without bail, pending a preventative detention hearing.
Investigators say that he also has an open case, another sexual assault and kidnapping case out of Columbia County from last year. One man is in custody after a standoff with police at a Molalla park where homeless campers often stay. Molalla police say the man got into a fight with an officer during a routine check and was able to lock himself in the patrol car. The standoff eventually ended peacefully with an arrest. The officer was hurt in the fight and taken to the hospital, but he is expected to be okay. The man who shot and wounded 2 Clackamas County deputies back in 2023 will spend 30 years in prison. 34-year-old Tyler Scott pleaded guilty to 2 counts of attempted murder. The incident began with a burglary call near Southeast 70th Avenue and Johnson Creek Boulevard. According to the Clackamas County DA's office, 10 seconds after the deputies announced their presence, Scott ran and shot at them. One officer was struck in the left shoulder, the other was shot in the torso. Both deputies recovered from their injuries and returned to duty last year.
As the court can imagine, what happened to these officers was significant and life-altering. Both deputies McKenna and Blair are very different individuals who have processed this in very different ways, but both will carry it with them for the rest of their lives.
One other man, Joseph Schaefer, was involved in the burglary but not the assault. He's pleaded guilty to theft in the first degree in 2023. Some changes coming to bike lanes in Portland. Jake Holter takes a look at how the city is trying to make cycling safer and more appealing with some new additions.
I know my wife and my family feel like anything the city can do to make bike commuting safer for everyone should be undertaken.
Jim Giuliano is an avid bike rider, often using it as his main form of transportation around Portland. He says he's all for the city replacing the plastic barriers with concrete ones.
In places where the automobile speed is greater, like on NATO like that, a barrier like that's better because there's a lot less time for a motorist to make a reaction or to have a lapse in judgment where they're going to swerve into the bike lane.
More than half a mile of Northwest NATO Parkway between the Steel and Burnside bridges now boast these concrete barriers. The cost, about $232,000. But PBOT says it'll save money in the long run as opposed to the plastic barriers.
What we've seen over time is that they aren't the most attractive thing, especially when they get beaten up a little bit. And they actually are more expensive for us to maintain.
And these physical protection barriers, these cement curbs, really do a lot to make biking a lot more accessible, a lot safer, and just get a lot more people using the infrastructure.
Kyle Johnson with Bike Loud PDX took the newly updated bike lane for a spin and adds that he thinks this is an improvement for motorists as well.
I think it works a lot better for car drivers too, to know that there's sort of this physical separation between them and families that are riding bikes, older people that are riding bikes, and you're not going to have people riding bikes like into the car lanes as well.
And a heads up, you can find a full list of planned bike lane improvements by texting the words bike lanes to 503-226-5088, and we'll send you a link to that list. Well, they are still months away from playing games, but the Fire are on. Well, fire. The team says it's now received more than 12,500 season ticket deposits for its inaugural season next year. For some perspective that is, they hit 10,000 deposits before their launch party. That means they received 2,500 new deposits in 1 week. Interim team president Claire Hamill is our guest on this week's Straight Talk. She tells us about their success so far.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think it's ahead of where there's only been one other expansion team, which was the Valkyries last year. and we're ahead of where they are. Not that we're competitive or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah. But I think it just speaks to the strength and the power, particularly women's sports in general in Portland. This has always been a
All right. For more on this, check out the full episode of Straight Talk tonight at 6:30 or Monday night at 7 o'clock. You can also watch it anytime on our free TV app, KGW Plus. And if you want to put in a deposit for season tickets, you still have time. Just head to WNBA.com/Portland.